We beat Donald Trump once and we're gonna beat him again. In 2024, with your voice and your power, we will win again.
This video is about Kamala Harris and what she must do to win the presidential election against Donald Trump in 2024. I'm Manish Adhikary and you're watching First Things Fast.
What can be unburdened by what has been.
What can be unburdened by what has been. What can be unburdened by what has been.
That's a mashup put together by the Trump team to show Kamala Harris is prone to speaking inane things over and over again without making a great deal of sense. Another thing you will hear her political enemies say about her is that Kamala Harris serves a lot of word salads in her speeches. That's a jumble of words and phrases that make no sense when put together.
Venn diagrams. It's just something about those three circles and the analysis about where there is the intersection, right? Yeah, I see people that you agree with me, right?
Then there is the signature Kamala laugh that is the subject of a lot of derision.
Poor hubby. Poor hubby.
This has won her the title of
bumbling, giggler in chief.
I mean, even I find this sort of lampooning by the conservative media bordering on ridiculous. As for Kamala, she just calls it her belly laugh and that she got it from her mother.
I have my mother's laugh.
But here's what her presidential adversary said recently.
From the moment we take back the White House from crooked Joe Biden and Kamala, I call her Laughing Kamala. You ever watch her laugh? She's crazy. You know, you can tell a lot by a laugh. No, she's crazy. She's nuts.
But in case Trump thinks he's going to get to the president's chair just mocking or talking down to Kamala, he's probably wrong because
Before I was elected vice president, before I was elected United States Senator, I was elected Attorney General of the state of California, and I was a courtroom prosecutor before then. And in those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women, fraudsters who ripped off consumers, cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
it's clear to everyone that beyond all the electoral rhetoric, Trump, with the popularity ratings on his side and the popular support he enjoys, especially after he faced an assassination attempt in July 2024, Kamala Harris is going into this election as a straight-up underdog.
Kamala Harris, Lyin, L-Y-I-N apostrophe.
But, this may yet be the strongest battle Kamala ever fights in her life. And she's fought and won aplenty. This is how a campaign ad from 2019 pitched her as an antidote to Trump.
Sick of this? Well, think about this. He's a world leader in temper tantrums. She never loses her cool. She prosecuted sex predators. He is one.
Grab him by the...
He's tearing us apart. She'll bring us together. This is Trump. And in every possible way, this is the anti-Trump.
Kamala Devi Harris was born in Oakland, California on October 20th, 1964. She was the eldest of two daughters born to Shyamala Gopalan, a cancer researcher from India, and Donald Harris, an economist from Jamaica. Her parents were passionate about the civil rights movement, and even as a baby, Kamala was taken along to protests in a stroller. When Kamala was 7, her parents divorced and her mother raised her and her sister Maya in a modest yellow duplex in Berkeley.
My mother was very well aware that she was raising two black girls to be two black women. And she did that instilling in us pride in our culture and cultures, always knowing that we would face all kinds of obstacles, but she never let us believe that anything could get in the way of our dreams or pursuits.
In first grade, Kamala was bused to a school outside of her immediate neighborhood as part of a desegregation program. So this was a policy which proposed taking kids like Kamala from predominantly black and low middle class neighborhoods to schools in prosperous white districts. She mentioned her experience around this in a Democratic Party debate all the way back in 2019.
There was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
Now, Kamala's mom would also take her and her sister Maya to spend the summers in India. Her grandfather was a high-ranking government official and freedom fighter. Her grandmother, an activist teaching impoverished women about birth control, significantly shaped her worldview. Later, as a 13-year-old, Kamala and her sister Maya led a successful protest against a policy that banned children from playing on the lawn of their apartment complex. Imagine that. She was only 13. After she became a lawyer in 1990, Kamala began a career as an assistant district attorney in Alameda County, focusing on sex crimes. Her family was not sure if the district attorney's office was the right choice since they don't have that great a reputation historically. But Kamala told them she would try and reform the system from within. Now, also in the 1990s, she was in a relationship with Willie Brown, a prominent California politician and someone much older than her. Brown helped her secure influential positions, although this relationship ended when she realized the lack of long-term potential, is what she said. As a prosecutor in San Francisco, Harris focused on treating teenage prostitutes as victims rather than criminals. Her influential connections in the city later supported a successful campaign for district attorney in 2003, making her the first black woman in California to hold this position.
San Francisco District Attorney Kamala Harris joins us live from the city.
Her tenure as district attorney saw a significant increase in conviction rates, but it wasn't without controversy. Her decision not to seek the death penalty for a cop killer drew anger from police unions, and mishandling evidence in drug cases led to numerous dismissals. In 2011, Kamala Harris, as Attorney General, argued against a Sikh man's employment unless he cut his unshaved beard. The man was Trilochan Singh Oberoi. Mr. Oberoi once worked with the Indian Navy, but in his 60s he was in the US working in a Walmart store when he applied for a prison guard's job in Folsom State Prison in 2005. He met all the requirements, but he refused to shave and take his turban off. When his application was denied, the case went to court. The prison department argued that the beard would come in the way of a tight gas mask fit. Now, gas masks are meant to protect prison guards from tear gas and pepper spray. Then in 2011, that's 6 years later, then Attorney General Kamala Harris also argued against Oberoi's employment unless he shaved, sparking outrage from civil rights groups. But the state eventually settled, compensating Oberoi and offering him a managerial position. Now, some Sikh groups have raised this issue in the past and sought an apology from Kamala. But overall, Harris's career continued to rise. A friend of Barack Obama's since he was running for Senate in 2004, she was one of the early supporters of his 2008 presidential bid. In the meantime, after becoming a senator in 2016, she came into focus for a sharp questioning of officials like Brett Kavanaugh, who is now a Supreme Court judge. Kavanaugh was a Supreme Court nominee in 2018 when Kamala grilled him, assessing his suitability for the Supreme Court.
Are you saying that with all that you remember, you have an impeccable memory? You've been speaking for almost 8 hours, I think more, with this committee about all sorts of things you remember. Yeah. How can you not remember whether or not you had a conversation about Robert Mueller or his investigation with anyone at that law firm? This investigation has only been going on for so long, sir. So
right,
please
I'm not
answer
sure.
the question.
I'm just trying to think. Do I know anyone who works at that firm? I might know.
Have you had? That's not my question. My question is, have you had a conversation with anyone at that firm about that investigation? It's a really specific question.
I would like to know the person you're thinking of, because what if there's
I think you're thinking of someone and you don't want to tell us.
This sharp questioning style during Senate hearings gained national attention, solidifying Kamala's reputation. In fact, this is exactly the skill her supporters expect her to deploy against Trump. On July 23rd this year, she kicked off her presidential campaign with a rally in Wisconsin.
The path to the White House goes through Wisconsin.
Wisconsin is one of the 3 blue wall states alongside Pennsylvania and Michigan that are must-wins for the Democrats if they are to secure the magic number of 270 electoral votes that a candidate needs to become the US president. According to her campaign team, Kamala's net approval rating is 54 percentage points ahead of Trump with black voters. 25 percentages better than Trump among young voters, 21 points better among women voters, and 30 points higher than Trump among Asian American and Pacific Islander voters. But the latest national polls show Trump is narrowly ahead of Kamala overall. Now, these polls were hypothetical matchups, according to the USA Today, taken before Biden's withdrawal from the race. Now, the broad picture as it stands today, which is July 24th, is that the Harris campaign is focusing on 7 battleground states. These include Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, I mentioned earlier, and the Sunbelt states of North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. In 2020, Biden won each of these states except North Carolina. In 2024, Trump is running ahead in all 7, according to most polls. So in the days ahead, you will see Kamala parachuting to all of these states, trying to convince voters that she's better than Trump. Who do you think will have the last laugh?
America has tried these failed economic policies before, but we are not going back. We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back.
If you found this video informative, please like, comment, and subscribe for more updates. Thank you for watching First Things Fast.